Hi, it's Make It Month 4, where we're looking at soldering, and Kerry's popped into the studio today to have a chat about what she's been working on, and we're going to do a little bit more soldering with it. So do you want to tell everybody who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I'm a printmaker, mainly specialising in lino prints around cacti and plants. And I've forgotten what you just said.
We've just spent, this is like the fifth attempt because we keep bursting into together. But you teach at the Folk House as well.
I teach at the Folk House with Kim. Do lino printing for beginners, and got into metalwork, silversmithing about 8 years or so ago. Just fancy having a go and kind of fell in love with it. And just recently tried to combine my love of botanicals and plants in with my metalwork.
What's your favourite tool or technique apart from melting stuff? You're like, I want to melt.
I do love melting stuff. I think my favourite tool at the moment is a recent buy I got from a charity shop, which is a textured meat tenderizer.
That's the
which I didn't realise was a meat tenderizer. Being a vegan, why would I? But it's this rusty metal, and it's really heavy, and it creates really nice texture.
It's almost like little square, like a lot of texturing hammers, they make the little dimples, but this has got quite a unique texture to it, hasn't it? Yeah. It's really nice.
And I just like the weight of it, and it's only £3. Probably.
The other thing that you've been doing a lot of was melting down and recycling silver to use it again, making it into fresh sheet and reusing it, which is fun. It just takes a little while, doesn't it?
Yeah, I haven't done that for a while. I must do that soon.
So what do you think, either in general or more recently, has been the biggest challenge when you've been doing your metalwork, or the biggest learning curve where you've had to learn a lot in a short period of time?
I think improving my confidence with soldering, and even more recently I'm still a bit nervous of maybe melting the metal as I'm soldering, and not worrying too much when it goes really bright orange, and that's normal, and that's just to continue. I won't melt it completely. And with the latest stuff, doing my holoform sculpture, just trying to get my head around the technical side of doing that, how joins work, and getting it all fitting nicely.
Because with the brass you've got to get a lot more heat through it compared to the silver rings you were making. But it's just probably just because they're so big. What is it that you want to work on today?
This past week I've been making a new form, creating a hollow ring, and I want to attach lots of bits to make it look like a prickly pear cactus. So it's going to be a really impractical ring slash sculpture.
So you just don't want anyone picking a fight with
you? No,
it's
a bit like a nicer looking knuckle duster.
And how did that come? What was the process leading up to that?
Mainly because that's the first one that I made, just continuing along that theme, including texture, including more complicated soldering techniques, so that's why I thought to do an internal ring. And I thought, why not make it into a wearable ring, but not really.
I like these ones. So you're all ready to go with your soldering. You've got your goggles on, your hair secured back, scarf tucked down your apron. You've got your two pieces you want to solder, and your little bit of solder is underneath where the two pieces are joining. So now you need to get them both up to temperature, don't you? So both sections. The top section of the sheet metal doesn't really need to get hot, but the bottom bit and the sides too.
Can I turn it around?
You can. Okay. Because your next piece has got more elements that you need to keep in the same position, keep your join nice and tight for the soldering. You've got your pins,
put more pins here?
Give it a prod. You want to be able to prod it and it not shift out of the position you want, and for the gap not to open up. So what did you go for? You went for the T-pins?
Yeah.
Rather than...
They were nearer.
Because they're near. But these do the same.
I thought they were the same.
These ones are just smaller. These are
Okay.
jewellery display pins, and they're little T-pins for crochet. On the
I feel like
honeycomb
they're
block.
old.
They're like so. They're sometimes easier because they're two pronged, so you can sort of shove them like that. But that's oh no, that one moves that way. There you go, more pins. Quick, more pins. And the only thing to remember is keep them away from your solder join because they will solder to your piece. Just popping your solder between the elements that you're joining together.
Where's the pin? It's under your elbow.
Under my elbow, sorry. So you're just prodding it into position so it's touching both sides of your join.
Is that okay?
So you've got one bit there, which looks good. It can maybe come a little bit closer. And the bit at the back looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're ready to go. Angle is a gap, yeah, so give it a little prod. That's it, and then back in with your heat. If you swap hands, you can always keep your tweezers on it.
With them right-handed, they feel a bit weird.
I do all my soldering with my left hand normally. I know that's a lie. I do the soldering with the right hand and do all the fiddly stuff with my left hand. That's it. That's looking good. I can't see the solder anymore from this angle.
Do you think it's melted?
I think it might have gone. I'm going to rotate around and do the other side. If you want as well, we can pull the whole bit closer. Oh, fab. So now it's all soldered. Just remember you need to remove all these steel pins because the steel will contaminate the pickle solution when you're cleaning it. Cool. And then
No.
then pick it up and quench it in the cold water. We'll give it a clean. Fab. And then in the pickle. So although you did your other pieces flat on the brick,
Yep.
that was because they were the same width. Whereas this one, the top piece is slimmer than the base. So you're using the cross-action tweezers and the third hand to hold them in position while you do your soldering. Instead of focusing just on the front plates, try and get in so that you're heating that, might have to go in from that angle, so you're heating that inside edge. Because it's these edges that you're soldering together, so it's those bits of metal that need to be extracted. Into that join underneath. Keep swapping between doing that and doing a little bit from the metal on the edge of the join. Right, just leave it to cool a little second this time as well, because if the metal is scorching hot, it needs a little second for the solder to solidify. It should be alright now, so if you start deconstructing it, but just remember to make sure it's not going to tip forward and fall on you, because it's a big old beast. Fab. And then in the water. Right, so you're about to resolder your second piece. We're going to give some Tipp-Ex a go on your original join to stop it from remelting and dropping off. So we've got the water-based Tipp-Ex, so it's not solvent-based, so it shouldn't give off any nasty fumes, but otherwise you're just painting it around the join of the piece that you don't want to have remelt.
Around there.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Enough.
That's it. And like we said before, you could also use a graphite pencil, or the traditional thing would be to use rouge, jeweler's polish, and paint that on. But it's a bit messy, whereas this is really quick and a bit cleaner. So you've put some Tipp-Ex on the join that you don't want to remelt, and we've swapped to the little microflame torch to see if that helps getting in at those tight little angles, so you can get a little bit closer with that one. Good. Looks like it's getting it nice and hot. You might still need to come up and heat it a little bit from above on that join, or do the back edge of the sides of it. There we go. So
Do you have to clean the Tipp-Ex off before?
No, just in the cold water it'll be fine. Cool. So even though it's a much smaller flame, it just meant that you could get in at those tight angles. So that seemed to work quite well. So these ones are ready to come out the pickle. I'll swap them over. Kerry's just finished her soldering for the day, and you've got your massive ring. So how did you find, what was easier, what was more difficult, what worked, what didn't work?
Well, we had a few issues with joining these two pieces onto this bit. I had to do that 2 times.
It was because it was getting the heat in between there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because this was acting as a heat sink. This is quite big, so though you could get these sections up to temperature, it was really difficult to get that little bit, wasn't it?
And then the same issue with joining these two onto the base, with getting the heat all the way through the entire item.
Yeah.
But I'm really pleased with that.
Right, and then you made a start on a new one?
Yeah, start a new base.
And
More issue, because it's just quite a thin sheet of metal compared to the other one, so it just starts to warp.
Yeah. So you've been using 0.7mm in class.
Yes.
But when you went bigger, because you were having issues about getting such large items up to temperature, you decided to go thinner with the metal sheet so that it would heat up quicker. but because your metal sheet, even though it's only 0.2mm thinner, because you're working with a big bit, when you apply the heat it's starting to warp and curl, and therefore your bezel wasn't sitting flat anymore, so therefore it couldn't solder properly.
And wanting to melt.
And wanting to melt. So you're going to think you're going to go back to something a bit thicker? Yeah. But the thinner stuff was working well for your small sections.
Bit,
It's just as soon as you want to go large scale.
Yeah.